morning, guys. Welcome to my Saturday. I have a lot ahead of me today. It's freezing. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Pam from Old Hippie Homesteaders. Welcome to our channel. Thank you for subscribing. We love it. We just absolutely love it. And we started the channel to help show people how two old bikers are making it up in the mountains. And thank you for following us. So if you follow me on Instagram, and on Instagram I have the same handle, Old Hippie Homesteader, you'll see how we got all this food. So let me tell you, we went to Sacramento. We just did a bunch of running around yesterday and had a lot of honeydews to get caught up on. So we stopped at a restaurant supply. I have a business license. I don't have my business anymore, but I still use my business license. So we stopped at a restaurant supply. You have to have a business license from California to go in there. And I hit it like once a year, whatever, when we're in the area because it's so far. I went in yesterday, and like I said, if you saw my Instagram, you'll see the prices I paid for this. We got all of this for under $20. The spinach was $5 a bag. These big bags of carrots, I think they were $2. I mean, this spinach, this is a big bag. It's pre-washed, all that stuff. Then we got this big, oh my gosh, this big bag of Idaho flakes, unseasoned potato flakes. And we got this thing of hash browns. So everything I think was like $18, all this stuff. So I was going to do a video and show you what I'm going to be doing with it. I don't know if I can do it all in one video because I do want to show you how to correctly can spinach, and we're going to be canning the carrots. I'm going to be pressure canning both these vegetables. You have to pressure can both of them. Now, with the carrots, I'm just going to wash them, peel them, cut them, put them in my pint jars because it's just the two of us. Put them in the pint jars, pressure can for 75 minutes for your elevation. Our elevation's about 15. Yours would probably be around 10 if you're, low in the city or whatever. So we're going to do the carrots. Now with the spinach, you have to blanch the spinach. Now I know it's an extra step that people really they don't like, but it just takes 3 minutes. So when I blanch the spinach, I put it in my steamer. And the reason I like the steamer, you can steam it or you can boil it in water for 3 minutes. Either way, it's 3 minutes. But I prefer the steamer because all the water just comes right out. You don't have to worry about the water. When you boil it, you've got to get the spinach out of the water, and you have to make sure you don't want it drippy and all that. So I'm going to steam it. So what I do when I steam it, I get the water boiling really good, a lot of steam coming out. I put a couple handfuls of the spinach in there. I set my timer for 3 minutes. When it's done, I take it out of the steam pot, shove it in my pint jars. I mean, I really shove it into the pint jars because you could think your pint jar is full of spinach, but by the time you get it out of the pressure canner, you have like a quarter of a jar. So you really shove it in there after you blanch it. And then when you go to eat it, you just reheat. You just put it in a pan, you reheat it, you put your salt and pepper with it, it's done. It's simply done. It doesn't take up any freezer space, nothing like that. So I don't know why these things were marked at the prices. There was a lot of other things. There was turnips. I don't ever do turnips, nothing like that. There was a lot, bags of lemons. There was no meat. It was basically just hit and miss items. But I mean, once I found these things, I really started looking through the store. So I think today, because I really want to show you how to do the spinach correctly and how to do the carrots correctly. I think the carrots and the spinach I'm going to do in one video, but I think today I will just focus on the potatoes. And for the potatoes, excuse me, I'm going to put them in our long-term preps. I'm going to put them in Mylar. I'm going to add an oxygen absorber with them. And I'm going to use my Mylar bag sealer. Now, if you don't have a Mylar bag sealer, You can use your iron, plug in your iron, turn it on its side, be careful, turn it on its side, and just make a crease at the top of your Mylar bag. That's all you do. Or you can use like a hair straightener. I have one, I got it at the Goodwill. I don't need my hair straightened, but it's really small, compact, real cute. It fits in my Mylar bag box of accessories really nicely because it's so small. So if you have a little hair straightener, you just plug it in and you put it on the top of the Mylar bag and you pull it across and you seal it. Now I am going to show you that, but for the most of the part, I'm going to be using my sealer because it's quicker. So let's get this going. I don't want to take up too much time. So we'll do the potatoes in one video and then the spinach and carrots in another. I'm going to do everything today, so it's going to be done in one day, but I'm going to break it up into 2 videos because I don't want it to be like more than 20-25 minutes, because after that point, you start to lose people if your videos are too long. So let me get my supplies together and I will be back, and this will be a real quick video to kick it out. But I do have my water ready to go for the spinach. Now you don't have to blanch your carrots. You just wash them, peel them, cut them into bite-sized pieces, and put them in the jar. We do pint jars. If you're going to do the carrots in quarts, it's 90 minutes. Pints are 75. It's basically the same temperature and time range for most vegetables. So let me get it together. We'll move over to the table, and that way you can see exactly what I do. I kind of guesstimate on the size of the Mylar bags, but these are going to be going into our long term. I have 3-tier. I do a 3-tier food pantry. The first tier is the food that is our everyday food that we eat all the time, which includes store-bought food and canned food. Now, my second tier is canned food and my dry goods. My third tier is basically for emergencies. Now, if I run short of tier 1 or tier 2, yes, I will get into my third tier of food. I always rotate my food. You have to rotate your stock. You can't can something or Mylar something and leave it forever. You can't do that. Keep using it. Use what you make, but also when you pull it off the shelf to use it, replace it. Make a mental note, make a note and stick it on your fridge. Keep that rotation going so you're never out. Keep it to where you have everything you need on hand. Now, granted, sometimes you can't keep everything on hand, but that's how I do my prepper. I call it my prepper pantry, my prepper room. I don't have a big, long spreadsheet, nothing like that. I don't have time for that. I have it organized the way that it works for us. I can clearly see everything. I do once a month cleaning in our big pantry room. I dust all the seals off. I dust the jars off, the cans from the store. I clean them all. I rotate. I check the dates. And that's when you can also check your seals. I do not leave my rings on my jars. I take the rings off after 24 hours of being in the canner, and then you can check. Now, we did have a jar the other day. It had no odor. We were getting some soup out because it was cold. We were tired from working, and I just opened up a couple cans of beef and barley soup. So I opened up the first jar. I didn't hear the swish. I looked at it. I smelled it. Looked okay. Didn't have an odor. Then I opened the second jar. Had that beautiful sound. And I looked at the jars. I held them up. The jar that had the nice seal was a beautiful color. The other jar was very dull in color. I do not know if it was bad. I would assume since it was soup with beef in it, it would have an odor, but I took no chances. If there's ever a question, if there's ever a time you open up a jar and you're going to do like a double look at it or think about it, get rid of it. Get rid of it. So we did. We got rid of the jar. It kind of upset me to, get rid of a quart jar of beautiful soup, but it just, to me, it wasn't correct. It just sent off a little bell in my head. So we got rid of that. But anyway, I digress. Let me put it on pause here real quick. Let me get my supplies together and I'll meet you back at the table. Okay, guys. So this is the hair straightener that I was talking about. I'm not going to use it. You just plug it in. It's just a real small one. And now on the Mylar bags, there is a little zipper sealer. But when I seal it for long term and you use the hair straightener, once it's turned on and it's hot, you're just going to, oh my gosh, I'm going to just get so mad at these cats. My cats have to get into everything. So if this was hot, you just hold the bag up like that and you push it for a few seconds. You see that? And then you turn it over and you push it again. That will seal your bag. Okay? So let me get that out of the way. Okay, so first of all, what I want to do is I'm going to try and organize this in my mind. Now, I don't want to use a real big, Mylar bag like these. That's not what I want. I'm going to try and use for smaller bags, smaller portions. Pause this here real quick. Okay. So this is on. Yep, this is on. This is what the Mylar sealer looks like. So I've got it plugged in. I don't want to get burned. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is open this bag of potatoes. I'd like to kind of guesstimate the amount of potatoes that's going into these smaller bags. So I'm going to pour some potatoes in this bowl. And if my cats will leave me alone, I can get this kicked out here. So in these smaller bags, I'm going to put about maybe 2 cups. And I have my measure. And this Mylar bag sealer is from Harvest Right. Whatever you find for yourself would be all right. Like I said, the side of an iron. So I'm going to open up the bag so they'll stand. So I'm going to take out, let me lay this down real quick. I'm going to take out approximately 2 cups. And try to get this in here without spilling it all over the floor. Okay, so that's 2 cups. Okay. So I'm going to put in an oxygen absorber. So I'm going to use the self-sealer on it, get out some air, and I'm going to set this aside until I'm ready to seal all of them. So I don't forget, I'm going to write on here 2 cup instant potato. Okay? And then probably the year. Now, once these are sealed, these will last 20 years. So let me try this again. Two cups. Oxygen absorber. Okay. Okay, so let me get the rest of these potatoes kicked out, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how I seal them. Okay, so I got all the instant potatoes done. Now on these small bags, these were 2 cup. So I'm going to write 2 cup instant potato and the year. Okay. Now on these bigger bags, I put in 4 cups on this one. We write the year. And then this bag here, I managed to get the last 6 cups into this one bag. And let me put the year. Okay. Now, a lot of people are going to say, why don't you just leave it in the bag? No. You don't want to get bugs in your bag. The Mylar keeps the bugs out, keeps the light out. By putting them in the Mylar, it extends the shelf life and the eating life of your potatoes by 3-fold or more. Yeah, I mean, you could leave it in the big bag on your shelf and then just use what you want and put a little clip on it. That's not how I roll up here, because I have a system, because I have OCD. So let's do this. Let me clean this off here. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's start sealing them. Like I said, this is already turned on. So I'm just going to seal across the top. There's a little indentation where you can tear it to open it. That's the area that I'm going to seal, because you can reuse these Mylar bags. So once I seal it, I'm going to seal it right here. I can still tear it off the top and pull. If I want to do it again, I can cut it. I can cut this little self-sealer that comes with the bag. I can cut that right out. I can cut the whole thing out, repackage it, redate it. A lot of people use stickers on the bag. Stickers stick to this bag. So if you want to use it again after you've taken off the little zipper part, all you do is stick it in there and it's sealed. Okay? So I'm going to seal just the top. Be careful, don't burn yourself. You just hold it down. At the light, there's a little light down here at the end. This is very hot. I'm going to do it another time. And you hear that sound quit? Oh, that's hot. Let me see if I can, I don't think I can turn this because our plugs aren't very, I don't have a very good plug for this. Hear the click? That means it's done. Okay? So this is all completely 100% sealed. Hear the click? See the mark? I'm going to do it again just because I'm crazy. Let me tell you, when I first started doing this, let me tell you where I found Mylar bags for free. I was at Winco Foods, and I was near the bins, and opposite from the bins is their coffee station. There was a man there opening up giant Mylar bags full of coffee beans. I stood there for a second watching him. He opened the bag, poured them in the big bin that people can get their coffee beans out of, and then he was throwing the Mylar bags on the floor. I didn't want to draw attention to myself, so I walked over to him very calmly and I said, "What do you plan on doing with those Mylar bags?" He said, "They're going in the trash." I said, "Can I please have them? I use them for projects." I didn't tell him what I was using them for. I didn't want to give him any hints to keep the bags for himself. He goes, "Take as many as you want." He already had about 20 bags already on the floor. And I'm talking bags that were 3 feet long. These bags, they were huge. Maybe not a full 3 feet, but they were huge bags. And it took him 2 arms to lift them up and pour the beans into their little special section, their little containers. I said, "Do you mind if I just kind of hang around until you're done?" He goes, "It's your time." So I picked up the bags that were on the floor. I folded them in half, put them on the bottom of my cart. And as he emptied a bag, he has started handing them to me. And I was inside. I was just like, woohoo! I was so excited because the bags were so big, I could bring them home and cut them down to the size I needed. Even if I had to cut where there was no seam, I could make my own. I was so excited. I took pictures. I sent them to my husband. I was so excited. So he got to the end of the bags. I got about 50 bags. 50 huge bags, Mylar bags. He hands me the last bag and he goes, "Seriously, tell me the truth. What are you doing with these bags?" I said, I'm going to take them home and I'm going to cut them down for bags that fit my needs, and they're going to hold my long-term food preps. He goes, "Seriously?" I said, "Yes." I said, "I'm going to wipe them out with a damp rag to get all the coffee, particles and stuff out. I'm going to let them air dry because I don't want potatoes smelling like coffee." And he goes, "Are these the same Mylar bags that everybody's buying online?" I said, "Yes." So every time I go back to Winco, something is done with the bags. I think I opened my big mouth and he's keeping the bags. That's okay. I got about 50 giant bags for free. It made me happy. It made my day. I just stopped and talked to him for a while. It was fine. So I haven't had to buy Mylar bags in a long time. So that's my crazy Mylar bag story. Okay, so this isn't marked. So this is 2-cup instant potato, and it's 2023. You hear that? Now I keep my, there's a control here on the end. It goes up to 6. I keep it on the highest. And do it one more time. There we go. So let me get the rest of these sealed. We'll come back and I will do the same with the hash browns. Okie dokie? Okay. I'll show you all the bags in a minute, but right now I want to do the hash browns. This is a 2.125 pound bag of hash browns. Boy, they don't want you opening this up, do they? Okay. So I'm going to pour them all into the bowl again. Can you see that? Yeah. Now for the hash browns, I'm only going to do 1 cup for the hash browns. So let me go get my 1 cup measure. The reason I'm doing 1 cup is because we don't eat a lot of potatoes like this. And if it's for breakfast, we usually have a really small breakfast. So I'm going to do a 1 cup. About like that. Okay? I'm using the small Mylar again. So on these, I'm going to write 1 cup. And these are, I'm going to call it freeze-dried. These are freeze-dried hash browns. And the year. Now, on the instant potatoes, you saw that I did not do the instructions. Do you really need instructions? You just boil water. And you put a few potatoes in the water, add some butter and milk. I don't want to sit here all day writing instructions on every bag. But if you guys want to put the instructions on the bag, go right ahead. Or you can cut the label off of the original bag and tape it. And then every time you empty a bag, pull that instructions off and stick it onto the next bag. But me, I don't need instructions on how to make instant potatoes. Okay, so this was 1 cup freeze-dried hash brown and the year. This is just my canning, ladle, whatever it is. Okay. And I'm going to put an oxygen absorber in. I don't use the big ones. I just use these small ones. And then if I need more than one, I'll throw, 1 or 2 in. So I'm going to put that in. Seal it. Bing, bada, boom. So let me get these hash browns kicked out. And I'll get them sealed. And I'll come back and show you guys the end result. I'll do one more here. Now it doesn't have to be exactly 1 cup. If you like exactly 1 cup, then do it exactly. But me, just kind of hit and miss. Put them in. Oxygen absorber. Okay, so I will be back real quick, guys. Okay. I'm all done. Look at all these side dishes that I have. Look at that. So I'm not going to be putting any more potatoes in Mylar this year. I was totally out. I had 1 package left. So I'm all stocked up. So let me show you where I'm going to be putting them. Now, I want to let you know, keep your kids and your dogs, whatever, away from the oxygen absorbers. They're dangerous. You don't want them chewing on them. And keep little fingers away from this bar. Very, very, very hot. Okay? So just be careful when you're using this machine. So let me show you where I'm going to put them. Okay. So this is my prepper room. I'm sure you've seen this, guys, before. Okay, so I have these tubs. These tubs are my long-term tubs. I got them at Home Depot, but you can get them anywhere. I think they even have them at Walmart. I have them marked. Now, as you can see, I don't have a lot for breakfast because if you have oatmeal, you've got your long-term food. So I'm going to be putting these in this bucket down here that says veggies and side dishes. Now, the reason I got black is because you want to keep the light out away from your long-term food, okay? It stays better longer. So that's what I'm going to be putting them in. It's right here, the veggie side dish. I made these labels myself in my Word or whatever it's called. Okay, so that's it. So I hope you enjoy the video. Now, after this, I'm going to be making the next video with the spinach and the carrots, and I'm going to be pressure canning that. So have a cool day, guys. Watch your surroundings. Keep adding to your pantry. Keep adding to it. All right? Don't stop. Keep adding to your preps. You guys have a cool day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following us. God bless you guys. Peace out.